Well, I just realized earlier this week that it's been 1 year since I started living nomadically, either in my car or in my school bus. And basically, that entire time, I have been living in my car continuously. The only time I have spent the night elsewhere was during a week in the middle of winter when there was a major snowstorm coming through, and I wasn't equipped for that. This entire adventure has been a wonderful experience so far, and I definitely plan to continue doing this. So here are my favorite things about living in a vehicle and living nomadically for the last year. So one of the top reasons why people pursue this lifestyle is to save money. And for me, it absolutely has done that. I have far more free time because I don't have to work anywhere near as much as I did before. And I mean, my expenses are roughly half of what they were when I was living in an apartment. Is there still room for improvement? Absolutely yes. But it's definitely made it so that I'm headed on the right track, getting debt paid off, just keeping those expenses nice and low, and I love it. A similar thing I was thinking about the other day was people always talk about wanting to own their own home as part of the American dream, and the way things are right now, most people don't really get to own their own home until they're basically retired. For me, I own my own home right now, and it's paid for outright, and I don't have to make any payments on it. I don't have to wait for 30 years to actually have complete ownership of my living space. Another reason people like to live nomadically like this is because it gives you the freedom to go on a lot more adventures and stay in amazing places. And the last year has been exactly that. Anytime I have time off, I get to stay in these beautiful locations like this. And if I want to change the scenery, I just go for a drive. Because I'm living in a vehicle, I've been able to explore parts of the state that I've never been to before and would genuinely be very difficult to get to if I was living an ordinary life. Places like remote parts of Okanagan County. Also, I love going hiking and just spending time outdoors. And when I lived in an apartment, I couldn't really do that. When I lived in an apartment, I could only afford to go hiking maybe 2 or 3 times a year, at most, if I was lucky. But now that I live in a vehicle, I've been doing, maybe several times a month. And obviously there's room for improvement there as well, but still, just being able to do the things I want to do, it's amazing. And sure, there may be problems with this lifestyle and lots of challenges to overcome, but all the challenges that I've encountered so far are things that I've found solutions to, and the problems are generally solvable with a little bit of creativity. The fact that life has its struggles isn't really a problem to me, and most of the problems associated with living in an apartment are problems that are really almost beyond my control. Things like the expense of the apartment and the location. So for me, living nomadically is just a dramatic improvement in the quality of life. So there have been some downsides to this lifestyle, but nothing that would deter me from continuing it. The first problem that I've had is, of course, the usual judgment from other people, although mostly it's just my family, honestly. My immediate family, anyways, is mostly concerned with things like safety and comfort and luxury, and they pursue their lives to try to maximize those things. Both my parents and my sister, they have a typical corporate job. All of them work at hospitals. And I don't want to say that they aren't supportive of me living nomadically like this, but my family does try to be supportive with my choices in life, but I am much more motivated by things like adventure and building things and feeling senses of accomplishment that way. It's not that things like safety and comfort aren't a consideration, it's just that they aren't the goal for me. I just found this plot on the side of the road while I was filming this video. Check out this view. And realistically, it doesn't really matter what I would be doing with my life. I'd have the same problem. And speaking of safety, another bad thing about this lifestyle so far that I haven't resolved yet are dealing with maintenance and repairs in some reasonable way. Unfortunately, when you live in your vehicle still needs to be repaired and maintained. Ideally, I'd be able to do this myself, but at least with cars and vans, it's actually very difficult. There's too many specialized tools that are required, and having a space to actually do those types of repairs is next to impossible to find. Also, finding a good mechanic that can actually do repairs in a reasonable time is quite difficult as well. And once you find someone like that, odds are it's going to be difficult to continue using them while you're traveling. That has been so far the biggest problem that I've faced with living in a vehicle. And the last thing that I've experienced that hasn't been amazing over the last year is my source of income. I know for other people who maybe have corporate jobs, especially if they are in the tech industry, being able to work remotely would be amazing and allow you to travel pretty much indefinitely. But it's not really within my skill set. It's not really within my interests. And so finding work that I can do remotely or short term that pays well enough that I can spend other time traveling, really anything like that, something that adds up mathematically, has been very difficult for me. Having said that, I have managed to pretty much double my income over the last year, which is awesome. The only downside is that has come at the expense of some of my time. Of course, things are continuing to improve as I pay off debt, but at my current rate of income and paying off debt, it would be about 2 years of living exactly like this, where I am working really long hours and only going on adventures on the weekends. And if all I did was focus on the debt and just continue what I'm doing now, it would still take me 2.5 years. And I'm not sure I'm willing to wait that long. So that's something that I'm continuing to look for new opportunities, find ways of improving my income so that it fits better with my lifestyle and will allow me to pay off my debt faster. Despite some of the issues I've had over the last year, I've really enjoyed living nomadically, and I look forward to another year of it.